Okay, this is to show the setup of the tall tower piece with the ants. We start off with a section of copper tubing. This is a small piece just to show you how it works. We'll come on to the dimensions of the actual piece in a minute. Packaged, you'll find a box with 12 of these sections. They're all slightly different, and covered with these little handmade ants. So basically they're hollow. There's a hole in the top and a little wooden washer underneath with a hole in it. So these are just going to thread onto the copper pipe. You might need to look from above to line up the pipe with the hole, and then that just threads on. Okay. Now the piece itself, that measures 7 foot 10 inches high approximately. So I'm not going to set it up in full today because of the height of the room, it's not going to fit, but obviously that's not going to be an issue in the gallery. For my purposes, I've got this concrete block to act as a base. Now we've got two options in the gallery. Ideally we'd have a hole drilled into the floor to take the bottom of the pipe. Now it's basically better the more pipe that can go below the surface the better. So if it's anything more than say 6 or 7 inches, that's ideal. Yeah, I mean that's only 5 inches, but the whole piece is actually very light, so as long as there's enough holding it below the surface, it shouldn't shake around. Okay, so it's a standard pipe. It's 1/2 inch rigid copper pipe. I've checked online, and you can get this from Home Depot, I think, which is they're doing 10 foot length for around $15. So 10 foot is more than enough, and then it'll just be a case of measuring it, marking off the very top of the sculpture, obviously allowing for that subsection that goes below, and you can just cut it with a normal metal hacksaw. So to start off, the first section is going to thread down. Incidentally, if we can't drill into the gallery floor, a block like this one, ideally a bit thicker, just to take more length at the base. So something like this, or a paving stone, the shape and the dimensions don't particularly matter. I don't think that it affects the piece too much, but those are the options anyway. So yeah, thin section goes down to the ground, then meeting it, the next section, that's the two wider points meeting together. Same thing again, number 3. So basically they're kind of going top to tail. I'll just move the camera up so you can see. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to add the 6th one. So that's halfway up the sculpture now. Then the next thing is the watermelon, and that's got a hole carved down the middle with a wider metal pipe. So that's just going to slot over the top. comes down to meet that thin end there. Okay. And then it's really symmetrical, the top section to the bottom, so it's the thin end again. Threadstone to meet it. And then wider section. You might want 2 or even 3 people to do this. You could either set it up horizontally, as long as you're not crushing the ants, and then set it up in the base, or you can do it like I'm doing here, and just go on a step ladder and carefully do it from the top. Okay. Let's go back here again. Now, the ants themselves are kind of fragile. The legs are made with very thin copper wire. So once the piece is set up, as you're looking around it, if you see any tiny little sections where the paint is coming away, there shouldn't be many because I've repainted this several times, but in transit it may be that some of the paint gets worn. All you really need to do is, with a Sharpie pen, permanent black pen, just touch in any bits of copper that you can see, because obviously they're shiny, so the eye will notice them. But that's just a very simple cosmetic thing.